Not all ICs are the same. They have different designs and perform different functions. But how can you pick up a random IC that you have absolutely no idea about and apply it to a circuit to make it work? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use any IC as a beginner in electronics. So, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Step 1. The pins of the IC. All ICs have legs or pins, and each of the pins have different functions. But before we get into that, let me show you how to count the legs of an IC, which is very important. You will notice a notch or a dot on an IC. And when you see that, your counting should start from the left side of the IC. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is an IC with 8 pins. The same thing goes for all ICs with notches or dots. Whether it's a 10-pin IC or a 20-pin IC, your counting should start from the left side. Okay, so before we move on, do us a favor by hitting that like button so that the YouTube algorithm can push this video to more people. Step 2. The IC code. Every IC has a code printed on top of it. Something like NE555, LM324, CD4017, or maybe something less familiar like UC3842. To make use of a random IC, just type the code into Google and add the word datasheet. For example, if the IC code is NE555, type in NE555 datasheet. The datasheet is like the instruction manual for the IC. It tells you everything: what the IC does, the pin configuration, the voltage limits, the internal circuit diagram, example circuits you can copy or modify. Now, when you open up the datasheet, the first thing you usually see is a pinout diagram. The diagram shows the functions of each pin. For example, let's say you're looking at a 555 timer IC datasheet. You're going to see that pin 1 is ground, which is the negative input. Pin 2 is trigger. Pin 3 is the output. Pin 4 is reset. Pin 5 is control voltage. Pin 6 is threshold. Pin 7 is discharge. And pin 8 is VCC, which is a positive input. So, with all that information, how can you just pick up a random IC and apply it to a circuit to make it work? Step 3. Experimenting. Before we start experimenting, we must locate the power pins, the legs that provides voltage to the IC. In most ICs, the power pins are the first pin, pin 1, and the last pin or the diagonal opposite pins on an 8 or 14-pin IC. Always make sure to use the datasheet of the IC to locate the negative and positive pins of the IC. On the datasheet of the IC, look for the supply voltage of the IC and its current. If it's not included, you can start with a low voltage supply like 3 to 5 volts and watch the current draw with a multimeter. Start by connecting the negative and positive wires from a DC power source to the IC negative and positive pins. Remember to start with a low voltage, or you can add in a resistor to the negative or positive pins of the IC to limit the current. Connect the IC, the power source, and your multimeter in series. Remember to set your multimeter to DC amps mode, and then connect the two ends together, like this. If the current suddenly spikes, stop immediately and use a much lower voltage. If it does the same thing with a lower voltage, then that could be a sign of a bad IC or a wrong connection. So guys, before we move on, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Hook up the negative terminal of an LED to the negative pin of the IC and then connect the positive terminal to the output of the IC. You will notice that the LED won't turn on. So how can we trigger the LED to turn on? Touch each pin of the IC with your finger. The human body acts as a weak capacitance, and the IC is able to amplify the signal and output the signal, and that will turn on the LED. This technique won't work for all ICs. Some ICs get triggered by a small amount of voltage from a power source, while some ICs get triggered by electrostatic charge. You can also turn your meter knob to the DC voltage mode, then connect one probe from the multimeter to the IC negative pin, and then use the other probe of the multimeter to test each legs of the IC while pulsing it with a finger. You can experiment on any IC with this technique. This helps to study the IC behavior. You can also add in a weak signal to the IC trigger pins, like an audio signal from your phone AUX connector. or a weak signal from any sensor. So if this video hits 27,000 views, I'll make another one. This time we'll go practical. I'll show you exactly how to use any IC in real circuit and make something cool with it. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay creative and stay safe. Goodbye.